for elbowing Patty Mills. The play where he took Kawhi down and locked his arm in Dallas and could have broken his arm. Ask David West, his current teammate, how things went when Zaza was playing for Dallas and he and David got into it. And then think about the history he's had and what that means to a team, what happened last night. A totally unnatural closeout that the league has outlawed years ago and pays great attention to it. And Kawhi's not there. And you want to know how we feel about it. You want to know if that lessens our chances or not. We're playing very possibly the best team in the league. You know, we don't know what's going to happen in the East. And 9.75 people out of 10 would figure the Warriors will beat the Spurs. Well, we've had a pretty damn good season. We've played fairly well in the playoffs. I think we're getting better. And we're up 23 points in the third quarter against Golden State. And Kawhi goes down like that. And you want to know if our chances are less, and you want to know how we feel? That's how we feel. Follow up? Pretty much cover it.
Kawhi Leonard and Zaza Pachulia were the two biggest names circulating the internet after Game 1 of the Golden State Warriors and San Antonio Spurs, the 25-point comeback. Warriors take Game 1 on their home court. I did an immediate reaction, but I needed far more time to digest what the hell happened in the third quarter when Kawhi Leonard went down. And it is obviously a major turning point for the Spurs' entire playoffs hopes. No, they cannot win the series without Kawhi Leonard. The good reports have been from inside the locker room that he was walking around with a slight limp, a lot of ice on his ankle. I'm sure he's going to play at the latest Game 3 back in San Antonio. Now, as for the play itself, was it dirty? I think it's really tough to defend Zaza Pachulia in this case. Here's Kawhi Leonard saying, no, he was contesting the shot, but keep in mind, this is Kawhi Leonard. He's easily one of the classier, quiet guys in the NBA. It'd be shocking if he said anything else, in my opinion, but here's the video and quote.
Did he step under it? Like a purpose? No, he was contesting a shot. It was, shot clock was coming down, and I'll have to see the play.
It's the first time I've also heard Kawhi Leonard speak. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I've ever heard a soundbite from him. So that was a nice, like now I know it can match the voice to the face. The internet felt that Zaza Pachulia should be ejected from the NBA altogether, let alone suspended, let alone get called for something more than just a common foul. And we're gonna get into a little bit about that and possibly a rule change. First things first, Spurs fans, I'm not sure how short your memory is. Bruce Bowen lived off this move. Actually, a lot of NBA defenders that were physical in the 90s, that were the opposite of soft in the 90s, that played the game way harder than the players that do now, they were undercutting shooters. This is something that's been going on for years and years and years. The benefits of super slow motion, high def replay and Twitter is what leads to, is X the dirtiest player in the league because of why. So I think it's a dirty play. I am in no way defending Zaza Pachulia. I mean, the guy steps over and steps on his foot of all things. Kevin Durant said after the game that it was, how are you supposed to, you should give him like the Academy Award because he looks so concerned. Not the best of excuses. There was 3 reactions. My favorite is this first reaction. Happy Mother's Day to everyone except Zaza Pachulia. Secondly, the Tanya Harding. Dan's a big fan of the Tanya Harding. This is like the 3rd time we've brought up the Tanya Harding incident when it comes to internet reaction. And lastly, that's Zaza's face in the bottom. Zaza Pachulia, Game 1 MVP, 11 points, 9 rebounds, 47 illegal screens, 1 intentional knockout of Kawhi. So that's the other thing I wanted to bring out was Zaza Pachulia. And the Warriors. So like I'm half and half with them. There's things I really like about the Golden State Warriors, and I think that there's no reason to hate every single Golden State Warrior because of 2 of them. But they have a lot of haters, understandably at this point. So the Warriors set a lot of illegal screens. Moving screens. It reminds me a lot of Tyson Chandler-esque screens on the Suns, not the Suns, on the Mavericks when they won, and then eventually the Knicks when I used to watch them there. Like, there's the extra. It's not necessarily like exactly a moving screen, but watch his knees. Like, they slowly twist and pop out towards like the other player. Like it looks like he's trying to buckle out the knee, which is, if you've ever had that type of, not injury, but that moment where your two knees bang into each other, it's some of the worst pain that doesn't take you out of a game you're gonna experience. Zaza sets a lot of illegal screens. Somehow though, Zaza's illegal screens and as unintentionally dirty kind of plays have still made him more efficient on the floor this like last 5 games than Klay Thompson. Does anybody know what happened to him? We'll figure it out. Reddit was all over this one yesterday. But so in terms of what I was saying before about like a rule change, it's really difficult to change this rule because you have to find intent. And when you put things through instant replay and super slow motion, as John Madden used to say all the time, if you look back on holding, you will always find it. If you look back on every play in football, you'll always find holding. It's the same in the NBA. If you look back on a foul every single time, you're gonna find a foul. So how do you exactly find intent? Well, in this case, he hop-stepped towards him afterwards. There's an extra step. That would be enough, in my opinion, to call it as a flagrant one. But again, it's not considered a flagrant one. It's considered a common foul. Ben Golliver today for Sports Illustrated was cited writing about how they have to make a rule change, but it's kind of hypocritical because the flagrant one call also has to do with unintentional or unintended contact, whereas a flagrant two is, well, I'll just use the word to define the term, flagrant, obvious, something that was looked malicious intent in a way. So maybe, I'm not sure if this solves anything, but maybe you add a type of flagrant. Maybe flagrant 3 gets added, things get boosted up. Flagrant 2 becomes a flagrant 3. Flagrant 1 is still unintended and 2 is intended but not malicious. That's where I would kind of put Zaza Pachulia, because it's tough to exactly find where he was gunning for Kawhi's ankle, but it is undoubtedly a dirty move. It's a dirty move that Bruce Bowen did to Vince Carter a lot. It's a dirty move that defenders used to do to Kobe Bryant a lot. It's a dirty move that happens to a lot of shooters. Well, because you gotta stop them from scoring. And at that point in the game, it looked like the Warriors were gonna get blown out on their home court by the Spurs, a la game 1 of the regular season. So instead, 113 to 111, and a hilarity of Twitter takes. Happy Mother's Day to Zaza's mom. She didn't do anything wrong, but not to Zaza Pachulia.